Hey guys, Boris Nosberg from BK. Great to be with you. I want to take a few minutes to take a look at some of the recent flow trades and just to understand the flow dynamic within the price structure over the last few days, to understand its power and also to understand its limitations and how to be sort of equanimous about some of the wins and some of the losses that occur when you're trading flow. So first idea that I wanted to show you was the euro-dollar over the last few days obviously being driven primarily by the Greek negotiation flows. And the key thing that you need to understand is that you're going to get whip outs continuously. So here's a first example of a whip out that you have here where we make a break through the 30-50 and the flows in Europe just simply don't carry over into North America. We have a run to the 31s. They take me out. But this is the very important thing. It's very, very important to understand that even though you may get stopped out once or twice and sometimes even 3 times, it's really important to reset the flow numbers if the situation changes. And in this particular case, of course, obviously, we had a change in situation as news flow turned positive. The idea the Greek deal was going to get close. And this, of course, over the last few days have been close several times. But that's not the issue. The issue isn't what the reality is. The issue is what the sentiment is. And in this particular case, the sentiment turns positive as the news turns moderately positive. And that creates, obviously, an opportunity for further flow to the upside. I actually missed the 31.50 reset over here in this particular account, but I did it in all the other accounts. And then I continued to trade it to the upside. This is the other thing that you kind of want to press. The idea that you're pressing the trade as it goes in your direction. So in this particular case, we took the 32.50s, very patiently held out, and made money here on the 32.83 move to over here. The last thing that you kind of want to see here in this particular euro set that I think is interesting is this. Once we reach this particular price up here in the 32.80s, right around the 33 level, we start to stall. And as we start to stall, those of you who follow me on Twitter probably saw me post that as we're stalling, if 32.50 is broken, it's very likely we're going to have more pressure to the downside. Now this is the critical thing. Price action follows news. This is indubitable. So for anybody who trades technicals, this is my greatest sort of misunderstanding with you. On the other hand, flow or price action also reflects news. So in this particular case, what we're seeing here is we stalled in the 32.80s. The news started to turn negative as the day progressed. And of course, we had a first run to the downside that kind of just missed my targets. And then we had the second run here, right over here at the beginning of Asia session. That was very interesting because this was off a headline saying basically they were still not able to come to an agreement. So obviously, agreement means positive news, disagreement negative news. The flow just simply reflecting all this dynamic. But here is the thing that I think I'm kind of most proud of. The move to the downside was sharp and swift in Asia, but it stopped dead set at the 32.15 level. And those of you who follow me in flow know that just a couple of weeks ago, I reset my targets to be 2 pips above 15 or 2 pips below 85 precisely for these kind of reasons. Now, clearly, this was a lucky trade because as the day then progressed, we obviously went up and I would have been stopped out in the trade had I not been able to get hit. But luck favors a prepared mind. And one of the best things about trading this idea is that as you trade it, you adapt to the markets, you make small adjustments. In this particular case, this adjustment on the limits really made all the difference, and the euro pretty much made the trade made a difference between winning and losing on this particular trade. I want to just guide you through a little bit to, let me see if I can get this in here. Hold on a second. No. All right, those of you who know that I trade flow also know that in my personal account I often trade the Aussie as well as the euro. A little bit different dynamics because I trade the Aussie through the round numbers, not to the round numbers, because I find it to be a much more effective strategy. But irrespective of the details, the setup is very much the same. The key thing here I kind of want to show you here is with the Aussie, again, how you have to suspend your judgment and let flow kind of take you to profits and targets. In this case, I was short the Aussie ahead of the RBA decision because everybody thought the RBA was going to cut, and the price triggered on the 107 to the downside. But of course the RBA surprised. We had a flip to the other side, and here's the key thing: I get stopped out, and as I wake up into the early European session, I immediately perceive that, of course, there's a change of flow, positive sentiment. I'm getting long at the 108. I reset my structure completely the other way. Here's the thing that is really interesting. You would think that this would be a trade that really resolves itself very quickly, but it doesn't. If you look at the hourly candles, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 for this, basically almost like 24 hours worth of price action before the Aussie is able to take me to profit. And this is the other thing that I kind of want to show you, is that you must be patient. Once you're in the setup, let the setup play itself out. Sometimes flow can be incredibly fast. It can resolve itself within 10-15 minutes. Sometimes it'll take 24 to 36 hours. And it's very important not to stress out, to let the setup resolve itself, because what's happening here is obviously price is consolidating. We have the fundamental underlying move. Until and unless there's a counter news event that counters this particular price action, the path of least resistance still remains to the upside, and that's exactly what happens ultimately. Patience is rewarded. The target is hit on this particular trade. Now, as we go the other way, though, as target is hit the other on this particular trade, we see that into yesterday, the risk flows begin to start to peter out. Again, I wrote this in my Twitter feed saying that we're stalling. So as we stall, then I take the cue to the downside. In this in particular case, we trigger the move to the downside at the 108. Again, patience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hours before we get a nice flip to the downside. This is off the Chinese CPI data in early Asia, and I'm able to get hit on the move. And now, of course, the flows have actually reversed to the upside. However, I'm standing still here, not because I don't trust the setup at this point, but because ahead of us we have the ECB rate announcement later today, and I don't trade in front of volatility. This is one of the other key things that you want to understand about flow. It is not a sort of a take every single type of a situation. You must understand the context in which you're trading. The whole idea is that you want to trade the news as it develops, not stand in front of it and guess of where it goes. Anyways, I hope you find this very interesting. The key things that I wanted to stress in this particular video is that A, once in trade, be really patient. B, if you get stopped out, reverse if the flow takes you that way, and trust the setup. Wishing you guys the best of luck and the best of trading. Hope you guys come visit us at bkforexadvisors.com. Boris Schlossberg, over and out.